welcome back to my channel. So today I've been wanting to talk about living on the Pluto line. So if you're not familiar with like astrology or travel astrology or it's astrocartography, there's like certain lines you can live on all over the world that can affect how you experience life. And you know, it could also change like what house your planets are in. It could change your rising sign. You know, it could change how you feel and show up in the world. It could attract, you know, depending on where you at, it attracts different situations, people to you, you know. So it's something to definitely look into. There's a few videos on YouTube about it. It's not a whole lot, but there's videos. There are blogs and vlogs on Google. You can Google about it and get your chart and stuff like that. You can go to astro.com or AstroSeek and put your information in, or put the city that you want to move to in there, and it will tell you, you know, like what can you expect if you move to this place or travel to this certain area. Or you can get you a reading from Etsy. Go to Etsy. I've had a couple readings from Etsy, and they've been pretty good, pretty consistent. The last one I had was pretty in depth, and so you could do that, and you can get somebody else to read it. And it's not a whole lot of money. They have, you know, different price ranges, but I've never spent more than like $20, but they can get up there. Because I know a little bit myself, I know if they, you know, legit or not. So, but anyways, my experience on my Pluto line. So I was born and raised on the East Coast, and the Pluto line, I have Pluto on my ascendant, and it goes down the whole East Coast. So I was born in New York, and then when I was a baby, my family moved down here to South Carolina. So this line goes all the way from New York, all the way from New York on down, whole East Coast, north to south, even in Florida, unfortunately. Because Florida was one of the places I wanted to move to. I wanted to go to Jacksonville because it was still close to South Carolina. You know, it's by the water, great seafood, you know, culture, and it just was vibes. It just seemed like somewhere I would like to be. I've never lived on the coast before. I mean, I grew up on a peninsula, Long Island, but not grew up, but I was born there. But I never lived on the coastline. I've always been inland, up a mountain or whatever. So, anyways, I didn't realize, of course, you know, you find astrology and these things later in life, but yeah, I didn't realize what was going on. Like, I've experienced some trauma on this, over here in this area. My father was on drugs, you know, growing up with domestic violence, and then when I grew up, I had some of my own, you know, and just I've had issues here, and you know, part of my personality, or I thought it was that, you know, I'm laid back, I'm kind of melancholy, you know, I'm not too hype. That's not my energy. I'm not the life of the party. Like, even if I'm happy, there's like a tone of, I don't know, just not excited. Melancholy is the best way I can express it. So when I listened to other people's like experience on the Pluto line, it was like they just felt bad. They just didn't feel good, you know, and the situations. Hello? So the situations that they were, that they attracted to themselves was, difficulties. I've had issues with the cops, like with the authorities, like Pluto is crazy. But you know what? It's one of those teachers like Saturn. Saturn is a big teacher. Pluto is as well. Like, you have to learn your lessons, learn from your mistakes. And if you are not conscious of Pluto, it will wreak havoc in your life. If you are not conscious of Pluto, it will wreak havoc in your life. You won't know what's going on with it. Fuck, why does this shit keep happening to me? You're not paying attention, but also I'm Plutonian. Like, I'm rising Scorpio, and then I'm part of that generation where we are, we have Pluto in our I forgot. Every generation shares like this one planet together. And I'm born in 88, late 80s, somewhere in the 90s, I think. We have Pluto in this certain planet. I forgot which one it was, but anyways, so we're used to dealing with this shit. Like, as a Scorpio rising, I'm used to, the transformations, the new beginnings, the starting over, the trauma, the crisis and shit, and just coming up out of it. And I'm pretty sure that's the case for everybody at some point in their life, and I really have nothing to compare it to except for a feeling. So if I've always wanted to leave here, I've never felt settled. I've never felt like this is home. I've always felt out of place, like I don't fit here, like this wasn't it ever, and I've gone to other places where you're like, yeah, this feels good that I'm in a different place, I'm out of town, this is fun or whatever. But when I went to Dallas, I just felt like Dallas and Houston. I went to Houston first years ago. I just loved the vibe. Like, I just like that. This is West Coast. This is a whole nother region here, whole nother time zone. And I like the bayou and the feel of Louisiana, the swamp, the moss trees. I just like the whole energy of that area, that Louisiana, Texas area. And my Venus and my Jupiter is on my descendant in those areas. Now, when I got into studying about those areas, they said that the descendant line was more about the people that you interact with and meet, which is cool. Like, I'm really not a people's person. I more so want the luck and the easy life and the abundance and the money that Jupiter and Venus brings, the happiness and that light feeling, you know what I'm saying? So, and it's supposed to also give those energies off still, even though that, it's supposed to be about other people as well. But probably if I'm feeling so good that I will attract people like me or my tribe, if I'm feeling good. And then, just the fact that I'm away from Pluto could change how I'm feeling. That might be the reason why I do feel different in that area too. It's like, I'm off the East Coast, because anytime I would go on vacations or anywhere, I'm on the Pluto line, because I mostly stay on the East Coast when I take vacation. So I don't have anything to compare it to until I went to the West, and it was a different vibe. It was a different feeling. So I think it's some truth to this, to this astrocartography. It's truth to astrology, period. Because I've had my charts, I've seen the shit play out in my life, like, for real. So, this isn't just some hocus pocus type of stuff. Like, I got real field work to back up what I'm saying. So, like, I see it. I see it in my chart. I see it in other people's charts, my kids. I can see the truth in it. And, you know, it's like, no, you can't make this up. No way. All right? Like, no way, you know, so. But yeah, so living on my Pluto line, it has been interesting. But it has given me strength and personal power, confidence in myself. I'm glad I did experience living on this line before I like moved to like some Venus and Jupiter, because I know myself. Yeah, it might be about other people over there, or that could be the con of it, is to get too wrapped up in other people. Ain't no way. I ain't gonna get wrapped up in other people. Absolutely not. No, because that's just not me. It's not me. And I'm like 35. Like, you get to a certain age, you ain't spending the night over your friend's house. Y'all not constantly going out all the time and shit, and so I'm aware of the energy. I know how to handle it. I know to continue to make goals and follow my goals and stay focused, and don't get distracted by other people, or overindulging and just losing focus. And that's something that could happen on the Venus and Jupiter, but I don't know yet. I really don't know how these energies are going to play out for me. I just know I grew up on this Pluto line all my life. That I do know. And it just really dawned on to me when I listened to other people. They was like, I just felt so bad. It's a mind thing. Like, you meet you deal with your inner darkness, your inner demons. So I've had a whole life of that. They talk about shadow work. Oh yeah, I've been there. And it's not something you really get out of. I mean, it's phases. Like, you have moments, because you are always a work in progress, So yeah, that's been my experience with Pluto. It's not all bad. It's not all bad. Because like I said, like, it's been good to me. Once I figured out what's going on, or just realizing what I need to change and pay attention to, I'm good. I'm very fortunate. I've gained great things, and I've been able to maintain it. It gives gifts. Once you figure out what's going on and you know what you're doing, it gives gifts, and it wants you to get deep. You can't live life on a superficial level. Like, you really have to get deep with yourself, be introspective. The why. My kids are waking up now. The why in life. Why am I here? What's really going on? Getting in touch with your spiritual gifts and things like that. Like, if you operate on that side of Pluto, it's good. It can work out for you. It can work. But the energies are strong, and it may affect my moods most of the time. I don't know. So I would have to go to the other part of the world to be able to compare that. So my children are up, and I'm at my destination. I will talk to you again in another video. So yeah, bye.